With the 2012 launch of the Kawasaki Versys 1000, Hamamatsu made an effort to use its beloved inline-4 engine to push the limits of long-legged road riding. Its transformation from an unsightly, somewhat awkward-looking underbone to the sleek, eye-catching motorbike it is today happened quickly. Since the new top-spec Versys looks a lot like the previous model, that appearance is maintained into 2025. Every modification made to the 2025 Versys is implemented under the guise of a long-distance touring motorbike. What's new? Since the engine of the new 3-cylinder range has grown from 1,043 cubic centimeters to 1,099 cubic centimeters, the bike's name exposes its largest modification for the upcoming model year. Although the capacity increase is modest, the power gain is significant because it now generates 133 horsepower instead of the previous version's 120 horsepower. The popular touring machine's peak torque has also increased, with the 2025 motor generating 82.6 pounds-ft of torque as opposed to the 1,000 cubic centimeters model's 75 pounds-ft. A 3 mm longer stroke while keeping the same 77 mm bore is what gives the engine more power and torque. For better mid-range power, the airbox has also been modified with a longer intake duct. Additionally, there is a somewhat slimmer throttle body connected to a revised duct that is supposed to increase intake airflow. The ECU has been updated to reflect the new compression ratio, which is 11.8 to 1, up from 10.3 to 1. The bike's frame and swing arm seem to be the same as previously, while the other changes are mainly minor. A slightly bigger 260 mm rear disc, up 10 mm from the previous cycle, is the only chassis modification made to the 2025 model. Additional modifications have been made to the trim and specifications. The Versys 1100, the new base model, lacks traction control and cornering ABS and has an LCD and analog display in addition to manual suspension. In contrast, the Versys 1100S has IMU-controlled TC and ABS in addition to a TFT display that is bigger than the base model's LCD while still accommodating an analog tacho. With the addition of KESC, Showa Skyhook semi-active suspension and electronic adjustment, the top-spec Versys 1100 SE receives the same specifications as the S. Additionally, a quickshifter, heated grips, handguards, and a bigger display are standard on the S and SE. Nothing in Kawasaki's current range provides better value for money than the Ninja 1000 SX, which is a name that is synonymous with affordability. That is, until now. The outstanding sport tourer received some great upgrades for the 2025 model year. The bike has only had a few color changes since the well-liked Z1000 SX was replaced by the Ninja 1000 SX in 2020, but Kawasaki is now redesigning its engine for the first time. Along with the customary color changes, the bike also receives a few other small improvements. That's what marketers do, after all. To reduce displacement from 1,043 cubic centimeters to 1,099 cubic centimeters, the bike has really been cut down by just 3 mm. New improvements are also made to the bike that enhance the mid-range while sacrificing some horsepower at the top. Although this bike may appear to be a step backwards on the specs sheet, it is actually an enhancement, putting more power where it counts most. With one noteworthy exception, the majority of the suspension and brake parts are still present in the basic model. Finally, the rear brake has been upgraded. The new 260 mm unit appears more contemporary and is likely to perform better as well. The previous unit was changed a few times and was thought to be a cost-cutting move. This is more of an evolution than a revolution in many respects. Kawasaki obviously cares about this vehicle, and this is undoubtedly more than simply a mid-cycle update, at least by Japanese standards. With this update, we are certain that the platform will remain excellent for many years to come. It's important to note that there are no documented reliability problems, which is significant in the touring industry. It doesn't cut corners on technology, even if it could be less expensive than some of its middleweight competitors. A 6-axis IMU, which gives real-time information to assist maximize enjoyment and minimize undesired intervention in the name of safety, supports its entire package of electronics. Additionally, the bike has a smartphone-connected 4.3-inch TFT display, which is modest by today's standards. Even though it's a minor touch, the passenger seat and grips are excellently designed by Kawasaki. Frequently an afterthought by large manufacturers trying to save a few dollars here and there, they frequently produce bikes with excellent rider ergonomics. The passenger is left with a seat that is hard or blown by the wind. There is one minor restriction for people who wish to ride in pairs. The stock suspension adjustment will be limited if you want to bring a lot of luggage. Although it may not be the high-performance Ninja we are accustomed to, it does appear to be one. Overall, it's a decent bike since Kawasaki put a lot of effort into the design. You wouldn't be able to tell this isn't a sport bike without baggage. Then it becomes a real touring bike with hard saddlebags with a few clicks, if you tick the baggage option. Every motorbike has flaws. The 1100SX weighs 518 pounds, making it a heavy bike. Furthermore, despite Kawasaki's best efforts, it does not ride like a sport bike. Despite its size and weight, this sport tourer is quite good. Most riders will find the tried-and-true chassis and suspension to be satisfactory, and with the correct handling, this unique sport bike will be a beast on winding paved roads. Kawasaki has released a higher-spec SE variant in an attempt to satisfy everyone. For those who feel that the braking is insufficient, it has a Brembo front brake and an Öhlins S46 rear shock for those who want more from the rear suspension. Owners have only had those two problems, and the SE model resolves both of them provided you're prepared to pay a little bit more. Additionally, the SE has a green livery with gold accents, in case we forgot. So that everyone is aware of your indulgence.